A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to Mzansi Affairs. It is Tuesday once again, and my time right now it's 7 minutes past 12. I hope everyone at home is very warm and, of course, good. You know, I am not alone. As always, I have my beautiful panel over the phone call. So I'm just gonna ask them how they are doing. So I'm just gonna start with you, Miss Nosi. Good morning, Miss Nosi.
Good morning, Mo. Good morning.
How are you doing this morning?
I am doing okay. Yeah, I'm doing okay. It's good to be here with you. That's all I can say. But I'm
Indeed.
much better. Yeah.
Indeed, it's really nice to hear your voice and being with us. By the way, it's a good afternoon. Apologies with that I'm still stuck in the morning. But anyway, we also have Mr. Jabulani on the line. Mr. Jabulani, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mo. Good morning, Nosi. Good morning to our listeners and good morning to our viewers.
How are you doing, Mr. JB, this afternoon?
I can't complain, Mo. I'm excited about the show, and then let's go.
Indeed. Let's go. So, before I ask you guys how is your weather this side, I would like to, share to the people at home our screen on how the weather is looking like, in our beloved provinces. So, I would just ask my technicals there to share screen with you to show you how's the weather looking like, because here in Gauteng it's a bit sunny. As you can see there on the screens on Soweto. We are on 11 degrees, in which is a Tuesday. In the morning, it was ranging from 1 degrees on and 2 degrees. Right now, we are on mostly sunny, which is 11 degrees. Now the temperature is seeming to raise in the days. And then tomorrow, we will be on 20 degrees around this time. And in the morning, it will be 3 degrees, which is a cold. So I hope everyone will be warm, stay warm, and make sure that they protect themselves in the coldness that we are going through. As you know that the weather, they can be severe, and very dangerous to those who are at the critical stages. So please do take care of yourself. And on Thursday, we will be on 22 degrees Celsius. And in the morning, you will wake up with 4 degrees Celsius. And as the show continues, we will share other, weather updates on what is looking like. So I just want to ask Mr. JP, how's the weather looking like on where you are?
I'm in Joburg, Mo. It's not cold as it used to be. It's warm. Like I came from Pretoria to Joburg. I think it's warm today. We can't complain that much. It's okay.
Okay, Miss Nosi, how's the weather looking like where you are? Because I feel like we're on the same place. You saw it, right?
Mommy and you are in Soweto. It's exactly as you have said it. It is a little bit warm. Just low winds blowing, but nothing much that will cause a chill for now.
All right, thank you so much about that. I hope our listeners and our viewers at home are listening and watching, hoping that they will take care of themselves on this cold weather. We are share online and we're also streaming on TikTok, Facebook, also on YouTube. You can send us your comment and tell us what you think on the discussion that we're going to be having right here on the studio, which is the opening of the parliament. Knowing that Mr. President, was doing his speech on the 18th of July at the parliament, in the opening of the parliament. So we would really like to hear from you guys what you really think of what the president came forward and spoke to people about, and the minister's response to the president's speech. So you can join us on our social media platforms. We are share online on each and every social media platform. You can go there and comment down below, and also you can leave us your voice note on our WhatsApp line, which is open right now. It's 061-524-7758. It's 061-524-7758. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, as you know that we are from what we call the opening of the parliament that was addressed by Mr. President on Thursday, which was the 18th of July 2024 at 7 p.m. So South Africa was tuning in, a lot of people, and the parties were all there in numbers to listen and to experience and go through what the opening of the parliament and what the president was addressing. So our today's headlines, of course, they are going to be speaking about, we're going to be touching on the opening of the parliament for the 7th administration, which is known as the GNU, the Government of the National Unity. Also part of our top headline is the purpose of the opening of the parliament, because a lot of people do not have an idea of what is the opening of the parliament. We are going to be touching on that, and we are hoping to hear from you guys on what you really think of the purpose of opening of the parliament and the president addressing the nation. Obviously, the cabinet Lekgotla's agreement, the agreement that they have reached, and the agreement that they have been going through in the last meetings that they were going through. And we are also going to be looking at the public response, in which some of the response we are hoping to hear from you guys at home. If you are watching right now, we would really like to hear what are your thoughts on the president's speech address that he gave on Thursday 18th of July. And also we are going to be touching on the minister's response to the president's speech. That is what we are going to be touching on, and play some clips, obviously, from the president addressing the nation. So I'll start with you, Nosi. I just want you to tell me your thoughts, on the president's speech and the opening of the parliament. So please take me through that.
All right, Mo. I'll greet again the viewers at home and our listeners. Thank you so much for always tuning in on Tuesday. We aim not to disappoint. Mo, for me, I think I would have loved the president to give us accountability of his presidency for the past 5 years. Why am I saying that? He is not president for the first time. He may be president for the first time in the government of national unit, but he's not president for the first time. So whatever he had said was not entirely new in my ears. I've heard him say the same things that he was saying. Even on February, he said the same things. Even on their manifesto, as now the president of the ANC, he said the same things. So I think my preference would have been him giving us an accountability of his presidency. But what do I mean? Him owning up to what he has achieved so far and what he could not achieve, and maybe outline the reasons for that in order to build trust going forward. Nonetheless, I did not hear any of that. First, maybe to people that do not understand, why is it important for the parliament to be opened? It is important because that's the only way that the president gets the platform to articulate the plans that they have as the administration. Indeed, he did that. He covered all of the things that you cannot disagree with, because we all know we need jobs. We all know we want poverty eliminated. We know we want equality. We know we want economical freedom. So all those things that he mentioned could not be disputed, because those are the things the country need. He did mention the things that the country need, some of them or mostly, but still more. I did not get to the part where we actually have a clear implementation of these things. I do not have a problem with the talk that they talk as the administration. These people talk, these people make promises. Their promises are valid, their promises are exactly what we need. But they always get me stuck at the how. Mainly because, again, the president has been president for 5 years prior to this, and the very same things that he's saying he said, why did he not implement them then? So that is why I'm saying if he had given us an accountability, take us through to where he had difficulties, maybe everything he had said that we have heard before, I would have understood it better. I'll just end there for now.
Thank you so much, Nosi, for those words. Let me move right now to Mr. Jabulani to give me your thoughts about the opening of the parliament that took place last week.
I'll say morning more and morning to our viewers and our listeners again. And there is a lot that Nosi outlined there. I mean, like usually these kind of things, it sound like a one thing, because opening of a parliament, you have to be there to articulate the plan and the strategies what you're going to use this time. So the difference here, it's only one thing that uh, what's happening now is GNU. So it's not attribute to one party. So which means other parties, they will be involved. So it's not something that will say that now we're looking at ANC, they coming to do the same thing. So it's all about president telling the MPs the plan, and then all the plan need to be to come to the ground. So everyone needs to work. They need to work together so that they make sure everything happen what the president said. So it's one thing that I'll say that the president, nothing much changed, but now he's got different ministers from different parties, which means there will be a difference in rather than like ANC only owning the show. So it means there will be a lot of work to be done, and everyone need to prove themselves that they're going to do everything what is the president promised people. So that's what I can say for now, and I'm looking forward for this because those people that used to be opposing the president, they are in there, they are part of the ship. So which means they need to work together. So it's all about understanding each other and delivering what it's supposed to be delivered at the end of the day.
All right, thank you so much about that, Mr. Jabu. So I think we have a comment on TikTok there from TD the Threat saying also let's touch on the Home Affairs Minister, in which it's something that we are really going to touch on as we had the ministers responding to the speech of the president after the Wednesday of July 17th. But the underlying fact here is that we all know that the Cabinet Lekgotla, they have met, and their agreement that they have agreed on, the ones that set the common ground on how to move forward in the 5-year cycle that they will find themselves in. But right now, I want to move on to what we call the purpose of the opening of the parliament, because a lot of people, they don't know have an idea of why these things get to be broadcasted, and a lot of people get to share their knowledge or their opinions on what's happening in the National Assembly. So right now I just want to share my screen with you so that we can get a depth understanding of what we are really talking about when we speak about the purpose of the opening of the parliament. So right now I hope we can get a glimpse of what we are talking about. So I'm trying to zoom in for you guys at home to see what I'm really speaking about. So right here, the first paragraph says, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Ms. Tokodidiza, says the opening of the parliament is a significant event for country's democratic process convened by the president in accordance with Section 84 of the Constitution. So when it continues right here in my second paragraph, it says it stands as one of the few occasions that brings the three arms of the state to democratic principles, accountability, and cooperation in the pursuit of national progress and prosperity. Addressing the media in the state of readiness to host the 2024 opening of the parliament address on Wednesday, Mr. Diza said the following: the adoption of the new joint rules of Parliament in November 2023, they now make a clear distinction between the opening of a Parliament address and the state of the nation. So this year's theme, as we know, there are themes when we come to the opening of the Parliament. This year's theme for 2024 opening Parliament address is My Parliament, My Voice, My Future. Speaking about the leaders that and the political parties that you guys voted on May 29th. So the persons or the people that you voted for are the ones that are going to be representing you on Parliament. So the theme for this year's opening Parliament was My Parliament, My Voice, and My Future. It's something, a lot of things that we're going to be touching on for today. Also, another two headlines, the modern technology to fight crime, in which Mr. Ramaphosa highlighted when he was giving his speech, is something that we are really going to touch on, as we know that crime is a really big problem in our country. Also, the continuation with the implementation of the National Strategic Plan on the GBV, which is known as the gender-based violence and the femicide in our country. So right now, we will take a short break, and then when we come back, we will discuss this headline of ours, which is the opening of the Parliament, and touching on important key factors that are leading to the country's development. So right now, guys, let us take a short break, and then when we come back, we are going to continue with our headline. A very warm welcome back while you are with us. You're still watching Mzansi Affairs, and my name is Moeketsi, and I am with my fellow co-host on WhatsApp line, which is Jabulani Mohari and Miss Nosi on my line. So if you just joined the live, please do make sure to follow us on our social media platforms. We are shared online on each and every social media platform, and right now we are streaming live on TikTok, also Facebook. You can also visit us on YouTube, and you can also leave down your comment and tell us the things that you need us to touch on, and you can also tell us your opinions on what you think on the opening of the Parliament. So before the break, we said we we're going to come back and discuss the most key pointers of the address that the president gave on Wednesday. One of the factors that we said we're going to touch on is the president touching on the National Development Plan of 2030. So, guys, right now I'm just gonna play a clip for us. For those who are listening right now, they would listen to what the president had to say about the National Development Plan of 2030. And if you're watching, please, listen and also watch so that we can discuss, some of the things that the president said. So this is what Mr. President Cyril Ramaphosa had to say with the NDP of 2030.
In all this work, the National Development Plan Vision 2030 remains the defining blueprint for our country's growth and development. We also draw inspiration from the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and the African Union's Agenda 2063 in crafting our medium-term development plan. The Cabinet Lekgotla underscored the determination of all members of the Government of National Unity to work together to advance the interests of all South Africans, without pursuing and promoting party political interests. It is about putting the people of South Africa first and foremost and advancing their interests. The Lekgotla noted with appreciation the commitment and great enthusiasm with which the newly appointed ministers and deputy ministers, as well as our premiers, have embarked on their duties. We will have seen many of them going throughout the country, immediately embarking on their tasks and outlining what their plans are. And some with great excitement, and some expressing their joy at having been appointed. And we all should rejoice as we see them.
All right, guys, I think we, heard what Mr. President had to say, about touching on the National Development Plan of 2030. So right now, I just want to move, to Ms. Nosi and Jabu. But I will start with you, Nosi, because we all heard the president saying that we need to put the people first, and also, highlighting that the GNU has now, the Cabinet Lekgotla have now come together with an agreement of making sure that the country and the vision of the country is, completed with per se.
Yeah, more. I guess we just need to be grateful that there is a blueprint, and there are people that are willing to do the job. But again, I'm not sure if this is just me. And a lot of it still sounded like a sales speech for the GNU. It sounded like he was telling us why we should trust, put our trust to the GNU. And again, I will always have a problem with that, because are we then saying the people that were in charge prior were not capable of delivering what is to be delivered now? Two, if they were capable, some of them re-elected, if they were capable of doing this, what was the hold-up all this time? What was the hold-up? That will continuously bug me, and I'm sure it bugs other people as well. Like I've said before, nothing new. Even with the blueprint and the strategy and the whole national, in fact, the whole national development plan more is riding on the very desires of the people of this country. That is why it is there. That is why there's a development plan, because they looked at the needs of the people of this country. But these needs are long standing. These needs have been there. If we are saying now, because now that this government is now in partnership and in agreement, this is why these things can only be achieved now. Let us come straight forward and say, there are people who were not able to do their jobs, and now we have people that are capable. Let us first own that and say, we think for the first time of being ruled by this office, we now have people that are capable to do the job. The whole time those people were not capable to deliver. And then we then come and say, here's now the blueprint that we believe it can work, because we have assigned the right people because of this coalition. My issue will always lie on the fact of people not giving us accountability, and they expect us to believe that they will be accountable going forward. Lastly, more before I hand over, if we're saying in that blueprint that the president speaks about, that in that national development thingy, he says he will enforce inequality, he will fix the issue of inequality. Is he sure that he will be in agreement with the people he has gone to bed with? Because equality to them remains not the same thing. When they talk about being equal, they do not use the same language. That's my understanding. And they will always have those differences. So if he did not take an advantage of that when he was outlining the National Development Plan to say, this is how we are going to handle the indifferences that we have pertaining inequality, that to me would have sounded like people that have a blueprint and have a plan that needed to go to the first mid-term. For us to stop worrying and knowing that they're speaking with one voice, they have outlined the differences, their differences first, before they can come to us and say, we have a plan going forward.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nosi, for your view. So right now, I just wanna, hand it over to Mr. Jabulani and give us your thoughts, please.
I just want to differ a little bit with Nosi in all what she's saying, because when I look at it on my point of view, it's as now as GNU, you understand. So we have the oppositions there, people that were not there before, unlike it was ANC alone before they do as they please. So now we can say the National Development Plan Vision 2030, it's a blueprint because everyone will be involved and they are going to make sure that whatever that they used to wish while they were outside, it must happen now. So at the beginning, I would say that ANC was working alone without supervision, making sure that everything happened on the ground and everywhere, every area. So people that were oppositions, they are in there. They are in the same boat. So they need to prove a point to people that they voted for, so that they can do this. They can do all service deliveries and all things that are needed. So I think it will be a different view from those who didn't get a chance before. They're going to deliver. So let me be positive about the president. So all what he was doing was it's like a coach when you select your team. You know, obvious for the match you will pick your best players. So I think for GNU they have selected people that they know that these ones that are capable. So everyone will need to prove that. So it will be a different ball game at the end of the day. So let's give it a chance, because we haven't have a government of GNU. So as the president opened the office, you need to be positive. You need to have faith in people that he selected. So that's one of the keys that will make people to deliver. And you see the energy from ministers and deputy ministers is different. So is not longer it's no longer ANC. It's a new thing. So let's look at these 5 years in different eye, and we'll see. Maybe we can continue having this GNU in a long term or in a long run.
Thank you so much with that, Mr. JB, because before we actually go, hear some of the ministers' response to what the president was addressing. I think we need to go back, a little bit and speak and also read what the president was literally talking about when he spoke about the blueprint of making sure that our goals and the visions country, it's clearer for everyone to understand and everyone who is a part of the government of the national unity. So the priority actions that he outlined that evening. So I think the most important thing that we have to understand here is the medium-term development plan that he was speaking about. So let me share a screen with you so that we can go through before we go to the minister's response to what he was saying. So right now on my screen, you can read when they say cabinet will be convening a further strategy session to consider the medium-term development plan, which will translate these priorities into a detailed plan and interventions that government will implement over the next 5 years. The medium-term development plan will set out a well-defined vision and strategic plan that outlines clear goals and includes specific, measurable objective and a roadmap for achieving them. These goals will be properly aligned with the budget, which will support the implementation of these objectives. In all this work, the NDP vision of 2030 remains a defining blueprint for the country's growth and development. And we will also draw inspiration from the UN Sustainable Development Goals and the African Union Agenda 2063 in crafting our medium-term development plan. These are the kind of words that a lot of people would like to hear, when these leaders, sit down in parliament and outlining the exact things that they need to see happen in our country, because I believe that the public also has the best interest of knowing what the future of the country is looking like. So guys, I think you have given me much. So right now I just want to move to playing a video of Minister Gayton Mackenzie, giving his overview and replying to what the president was saying on Wednesday, which was the 17th of July. So let us hear what Minister Gayton Mackenzie had to say.
Inspection. He acknowledged that the local government, we are failing. He acknowledged that metros are failing. But whilst he acknowledged that, he also gave us how is he going to fix that. And he said we are going to put more money there, but we are also going to have tougher oversight or stricter oversight. I think this is one of the best pictures by President Cyril Ramaphosa, and I think that the future is bright for South Africa.
Stopping it there, I guess you guys heard, because Minister Gayton Mackenzie, outlines the things that Mr. Ramaphosa spoke about, the vision, the clear vision, and the goals, So, in one of the ministers, he is one of the ministers who see a bright future for South Africa. He sees the country moving forward. He sees the country growing the economy and becoming sustainable in more coming years. So, I just want to hear from you guys. What do you think of Mr. Gayton's, response to the president's speech? Let me start with you, Nosi.
He has every right to be hopeful more. I believe we all are hopeful. He truly has every right to be hopeful, mainly because if we're looking at it in Mr. Jabu's eye, mainly because it's an NGU, it's a GNU, and because of that, we're saying now everything is new, it's new people, and it seems like now we have people that know what they're doing, and it seems like the president actually is saying that now suddenly there's going to be money, and the money is going to be in the hands of the municipalities more, so that they can be able to identify the things that need fixing with a closer eye, because they're the closest to the people. So if they're going to hand over the reins to them fully, then that gives us hope, because I've always had the feeling that they needed to bypass too many people in order to make these requests. So I will say, if as he mentioned, that will be one of the strategies that they're going to use and increase the budget, it gives us a room to be hopeful. Again, this is Mr. Gayton we're talking about. He's an excited chap. He has always delivered more. Forget his mistakes and whatever. He has always delivered. So I would say he's somebody that does not go into anything with a negative eye, because he's an excited chap. He knows he can deliver a task that is at hand with him. Maybe he is also viewing people with his lenses, because there is also that issue more. If you are a good person, if you have good intentions, you naturally think everybody around you is a good person and they have good intentions. I'll leave it at that, because I don't want to come off as somebody who brings all these negativities before. But my thing more is that if me and you, we are going to embark on a journey of any kind in agreement, whether business or whatever, we need to be at liberty to call each other off. If you haven't something that you have done, I need to be in a space to say to you, this action was wrong. Let us admit it and fix it. And you also need to be at same liberty. I feel this government of national unity have not even ironed those issues to say, look, we cannot sit here and talk about eliminating crime when we have money laundering that is sitting with somebody who's our president on the Palapala issue. They need to go to the DA and said, look, you are now on board, you are with us. There is no black and white. There is we will need to talk about how are things going to be done in terms of people wanting to be in this country. They need to talk about their differences, iron them, and then upon ironing them with such freedom, be transparent about these disagreements, so that we do not get a shock of a lifetime at the end of the day, them pointing fingers at each other to say, this task was handed to you, you did not deliver. This task was handed to you, you did not deliver. From where I am sitting, they are still two different people who are trying to sell to us that they are one people, because they still have not addressed the elephants that are in the house. Yes, good people will always see things in a God light, because they think everybody is like them. But is what has been said what will be delivered when people have not even set an eye on their indifferences? That's my biggest question.
Thank you so much for that, Ms. Nusi. So let me move to you. Let me hand it over to you, Mr. Jabulani. Your thoughts on Minister Gayton Mackenzie's response to the president's speech.
Yes, I think energy and atmosphere is in a different level. More, Mr. Gayton is excited, and then he started to work early. If you can check. Rather than other ministers, he has got a full energy, and he's excited about this. He wants to prove a lot of points, and then which caught him to go to the ground and work. And then I can tell he can deliver. He already done some few things that we didn't know about. He took out his department and the list of COVID department. Even there were a lot of talking points around it and complaints, but you see, he is one person that need to be transparent, so that it will inject another energy to other ministers to look at that department is doing well, and other departments are doing well. So what about us? So there is that thing that is happening when I talk about the energy and atmosphere. So it's a new thing. So let's give it a chance and see what's going to happen. And with that, bear in mind that these are people that were opposing ANC, and ANC alone were busy looting, so they will be putting eye on eye, so don't forget that they are still opposition, so they want to clean and they want to do things that they wish to do while they were outside. So now they were inside, so it's the chance to make sure that this government works and that it will keep them in for a long time. And so everyone is excited about that. So with Mr. Gayton, is full of energy, and I think personally he liked Ramaphosa. I haven't heard anything negative that coming from Gayton when the presidency anything, So we do have our opposition, which is EFF and MK. If you can listen to some of the speeches that are coming from MK and EFF, you can tell it is painful. I can give you an example with Naledi from EFF because she stands for youth in most cases. So she outlined a lot of things that are painful that happened in the past. So, but this is a GNU. Let's judge GNU as it starts. But we know our past and we didn't forget what happened. So let's give it a chance and see what's going to happen.
Indeed. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Jabulani, because what Mr. Gayton Mackenzie entails, he sees the future of the country and, hopes that the leaders will work together in making sure that the people's needs, are met in this thriving economy of ours. I think the biggest concern right now is making sure that the growth comes with the South African citizens and making sure that everything is well within its own right. So not forgetting everything that we are speaking about, because we are still on the minister's response on the president's address that happened on Wednesday, July. There's a comment there, but we will come back to the comment. So right now, I want to move to Mr. Dr. Leon Scriba, which is the Minister of the Home Affairs, just to hear what he had to say after the minister addressed the people. So this is what Minister had to say.
Perspective, wonderful to see support for the agenda of reforming the visa regime. We heard the President saying there, in sectors where we don't immediately have those skills available, we must use a visa system, accelerate the reforms and make it easier to attract skills, investment and tourism to South Africa. So I think that is really strong and welcome in terms of reinforcing the Home Affairs mandate as becoming an economic enabler. Then I think the other thing in terms of building a capable state, which is very, very welcome as well, was the specific focus on doing away with undue political interference in appointments to the state. So I think that is also going to be a very important policy change that we're going to see as we move forward to make sure that we're able to build that capable state, because at the end of the day, you need to recruit people on the basis of merit and skill and get them into the system, not on the basis of political affiliation. So I think these are all areas where Home Affairs will be making our contribution, but that will stand South Africa in good stead as we move.
Apologies with the background sounds, but what Mr. Dr. Leon Scriba, the Minister of Home Affairs, was speaking about, he is mostly emphasizing on skills development and visiting all of the provinces in the country where important data is not taken in terms of, what is happening around the country, because we know that the problem that we are facing in this country is illegal immigrants coming to the country and messing around with the country's economic growth that is being tried to build. So before we go to the break, guys, I just want to hear some few pointers from you, because we know that ministers, they came out and they responded to the address of Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. So with everything that was happening and how the president touched the most important thing that drives the country, and also the strategic plan that is needed. Like what's your take with the minister's response? Do you see that are these people looking at what the president has not done, or they're looking at working each other as Cabinet Lekgotla has been formed, or it's just let us look at what the president has not done, remove him, and move on from there? So I just want to hear from you guys. Let me start with you, Mr. JB.
Mr. Leon just talk about the skill development and underline, of course, the foreign immigrants at the end of the day. That's the issues that we have when it comes to home affairs. So I don't think it's going to be alone in that. As I've said at the beginning, that the GNU it's a team. So whatever issues that it's in home affairs, they will sit down, they will go back to the drawing board and talk about it and see how to improve. It's not all about being individual in this government. So it will be everyone involved, as I said. So he's going to deliver in that part, and he sound energetic and excited about the position. So it's one of the things that I've said, that everyone is excited. So I don't think there will be a department that is not going to do anything about what happened in the past. So it's all about being there for them as a president, give them this necessary support that they need so that they can deliver at the end of the day.
Thank you so much about that, Mr. JP. So I will hand it over to you, Ms. Nosi.
More to me, the feedback was really positive from the MPs. Truly. Even the ones that mentioned the things that the president did not achieve, I did not find them to have been mentioned to say, we do not want the president, we're done with him, he needs to go. I found them to have been said to say, lest we forget, or to eliminate our fears, this is the thing, or these are the things he should have touched on. But basically the feedback for me is very positive. Looks like everybody is willing to work together, and everybody is willing to adhere to the policies that are out there, that are set out there. To touch to what Dr. Leon said, if they were to expand more, to sit more on the home affairs, they would find too many opportunities. I'm in agreement with him. They would find too many job opportunities. There's 2 million jobs that the president was talking about. I believe if they will stretch on the home affairs side, they will. They're not going to be 2 million, but they will create a lot of jobs in there. First, if they start with the cleanup, because the cleanup is needed. Everybody needs to be registered. And if they then train people on how to go and do those cleanup, if they then take independent people and create some kind of force, and those people can work with the police department, for an example, they can then go attend to these raids to see who is registered, who is not registered. And by doing that, they will also be creating jobs. There's a lot of cleanup that needs to be done because of the mess up that we've had to face with the previous government, which is one of the things that made me say, maybe they should have touched on the things they could not deliver and said, we are now grateful that we are now a united country, because their people made us united, and these are the things that we're going to bring forward. And where we had failed you, we intend not to fail. So I hear them, they're all positive. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you so much. We'll be looking more at what the MP's response were like after the president's address. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, let us take a short break, and then when we come back, we are going to continue discussing the opening of the parliament, the public's view, also the MP's view on what the country is looking like for the future. So right now, can you guys please make sure that you follow us on social media platforms? We are Share Online on Facebook, YouTube, YouTube, also on TikTok. We are Share Online. So you can do the honors and leave down your comment and tell us what you're thinking about the future of South Africa in the hands of Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. And then when we come back, we are going to give you everything that Mr. President, spoke about when it comes to the better life for the South Africans, the advancement of the parliament, also education, and also touching on medium-term development and the key tasks of the government in the National Development Plan of the 2030. Right now, let's take a short break, and then when we come back, we are going to continue discussing our headlines. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mzansi Affairs. You are still tuning in to Mzansi Affairs, and we are Share Online on every social media platforms, from Facebook, Share Online, on WhatsApp, we are on YouTube, we are Share Online, also Facebook, Share Online, also on Instagram, Share Online. So you can visit all of those social media platforms and tell us what you think with our main headline of the today, which is the opening of the parliament. My name is Moeketsi, and I am not alone. On my line, I have Ms. Nosi and Mr. Jabulani right here with me. We are still discussing the opening of the parliament and the regards and also the responses of the MPs on what the president had to say. So before I move on, we know that yesterday Mr. President, he came forward to reply to the debates that were happening on the day of the opening of the parliament, whereby every political parties they raised their question and they spoke to the president and they raised their concerns on what is happening. So with me right here, I have all of the replies that Mr. Ramaphosa gave to all. Most importantly, the important replies that our citizens would really like to hear. So right now, we are going to play a short clip that Mr. Ramaphosa replying, on a question when it comes to a better life for all, because we know that South Africa is, named as the most unequal country in the world. So Mr. Ramaphosa had to come forward and respond to that on how to make sure that each and every citizen in South Africa gets a better life. This was his response.
We all understand what is expected of us by those who put us here. They expect us to chart this country towards the ultimate goal of a better life for all, talking to each other and working together, and in the end, pulling in the same direction. That is what the people of South Africa expect of this House. That direction is towards the implementation of the medium-term development plan that's being crafted, the program that will guide the 7th administration.
So that was the minister, the president's response into better life for each and every citizen. So, guys, I just want to hear your thought from that, because as you hear, the president was speaking about a solution of moving forward and making sure that every citizen in South Africa is well taken care of. Let me start with you, Ms. Nosi.
Well, it all sounds promising. It all sounds promising. Can I say something? I think I am starting to be happy that the nation has cornered Mr. President into doing the right thing. Clearly, in some parts, he's admitting that this change is going to come about because we have coerced them into being a united country by the way in which we have voted. In other words, we may have sat and died and left our children in the country that was never going to go anywhere. In other words, he's also agreeing that we were never going to have all these implementations if they were not coerced. I love this country very much. I have been lied to in this country very much. Doesn't matter who was sitting in presidency. They have always given something and taken something. Others have come and made things worse. Others have come and made things better halfway. I am saying I'll give in to what he said, that they have this blueprint, they have these things that they're going to, in fact, on the promises that were forever made, they finally now have the way to implement them. That's what I'm hearing. Someone else may hear something different, but that's what I'm hearing now, that in all these promises that we've made that are the same every year, only now, as you have made us to be united, we finally have a plan on how to implement them. Then I would say kudos. Then I would say we are grateful. Then I would say we are waiting to see and we are hopeful.
Thank you so much. Mr. JP, let me hand it over to you, sir.
I once said your voice, your vote is your voice. So I think everybody's voice will be heard, because now it's a government of national unity. So you mentioned the medium term strategies, and then the programs, the strategies to implementations. So it means this government that we have now, we have accessibility to do everything and to outline whatever that we need, to hold people that we voted for accountable to deliver everything that we need. So it's going to be an easier term if everyone is involved. So I'm thinking that the programs they're not going to close us out. We're going to be in these programs. We'll know how to participate in governance. So that's something that we need. So the strategies will come from top to the ground. So it's going to be easier for us if it's going to work like that, and everybody will have access in this government. So which means if there is a complaint, it's something that we can outline very simple and see and identify the mistakes of the MPs in where they lack and what they don't do right actually. So it's gonna be exciting, and I feel like we sound revived, and we will have more insight, and then we'll be participating as well.
Indeed. Thank you for that, Mr. JP. And also, as we saw, mixed reaction from various political leaders that were content with the measures that were announced by Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. So to you right now, let me just read as quickly as I can, some of the key points and the opposition leaders had to criticize when it comes to the speech of Mr. Ramaphosa. So the Action SA leader, Mr. Herman Mashaba, said he dismissed the address as mere propaganda for the government of national unity. emphasizing that Ramaphosa failed to address the real issue facing South Africans. Mashaba questioned how the president planned to handle the Democratic Alliance stance on the economy, emphasizing the need for intervention to address historical inequalities. And then Umkhonto weSizwe party spokesperson Nhlamulo Ndlela labeled the address as lies, accusing Mr. Ramaphosa of making false promises about job creation. He highlighted that he claimed 2 million jobs were related to the expanded public works program, where people are rotated in the same positions. African Transformation Movement leader Vuyo Zungula noted that Ramaphosa repeated points from previous addresses, including the State of the Nation address in February. The ATM believes there needs to be a stronger opposition to hold the government accountable. And then the PA leader, Mr. Gayton Mackenzie, as we heard in the video, was like, in contrast, he praised the speech, as pragmatic and forward-looking, considering it the best of Ramaphosa's speeches. Inkatha Freedom Party leader, Mr. Velinkosi Hlabisa, says he considered the speech a good response to the May elections results. So those are some of the responses that we get from other MPs. But now I think it is best for us, to get a little glimpse of what Mr. Ramaphosa had to, say when it comes to the parliament advancement, moving forward to the parliament advancement and making sure that everything is clear and the house is respected as it needs to be. So this was the response when it comes to the parliament advancement from Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa.
This parliament should become the epicenter of the advancement of the will of the people of South Africa. Much of what has been said during this debate has confirmed that we have entered a new era in South African politics. It is an era of hope. It is an era of optimism for the people of our country and for its future. We must demonstrate in word and in deed that this is an era of a government of national unity and not a fleeting convenience.
Indeed, those were the words from Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa explaining, the importance of the parliament advancement. So right now, I just want to move to my panel and ask you guys, where are your thoughts, in everything that is happening? If you can give your thoughts on what Mr. President has just spoke about, that now the country, what it needs is the GNU, which is known as the Government of National Unity. So I just want to hear from you guys, where are your thoughts and what is it that you are looking at right now? Let me start with you, Ms. Nosi.
Well, the whole speech about advancement, when I was listening to it, parliament advancement, I kept saying the whole time, this part is not for me. This part is you trying to convince the people that you're sitting in the room with that they must keep to their promises. They must keep to the policies. They must keep to their agreement. Nobody must pull to their side. You guys must appear as a forefront that is willing to work together for the betterment of this country. That thing could have been said in closed doors to all of them, because I that's what I felt. I felt like he wanted to make a statement to the people he's going to work with to know that you cannot now go back and say otherwise. Again, it brings me to the very same thing that I've said from the beginning. If when you said you're going to implement the NHI and you had the DA speaking against it, and now you are together and you're saying it's going to go forward, and you have not come back to us to say, how did you reach the agreement? It still makes me think we're going to sit the next 5 years, watch them trying to iron their differences, and only then after they will then think of us when we have maybe 1 year left to it with most of things not done. You cannot, I still say, I cannot have you more and Mr. Jabu say we are not to go you are not to go this way, Nosi, and then tomorrow I come back and say we are in agreement, and then I fail to tell people how did we reach that compromise so that everybody can be at ease. This is why when he speaks, I will forever hear certain parts as him trying to make sure that everybody he's in the room with understands what they have agreed to, and now the whole nation knows um, what they had agreed to, so that they don't come and bite him at the end of the day, because he looks like somebody who has his one eye at the back watching if they're not coming to bite him.
All right, thank you so much, Nosi, with those words. And Mr. JP, over to you, sir.
I just want to come in a positive perspective. One of the MPs mentioned that the president said what the president said, it's what he stands for, and then it's all about to implement the things and the strategies. When it comes to advancement and hope, it's something that you need to give to your MPs as a leader, and then uh, what he's trying to do as a president, he is trying to say that let's not be negative, let's not look what happened. I've given everyone a chance. I'm opening my hands that as a president, as people believe in me, so I'll have a team that's going to fight with me to make sure that whatever promise that I made to people, we deliver at the end of the day. So that's what the president trying to do and trying to say, irrespective that he failed at the past. So now he's opening his hand and say, let's work together as South Africa. That's why he opened for a GNU. So everybody is involved, everybody's in. It's all about them to deliver to the ground, to everyone that need something from them. So I'm positive about everything, and I understand it's not easy to implement, and it's everything is easy in paper. But if you have right people in your corner, they will make sure that they support you, and they do the right thing. If there will be a sabotage, so it means GNU is going to fail. So everybody must look it abroad. You must look at what's going to happen in the next 5 years if I'm working here and I fail in this department. So I think people will come positive, and do the right thing.
Indeed. Right decisions is what most of the South African citizens are looking on right now. And speaking of right decisions, I believe that everyone, they would really like, to hear, a glimpse of what Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa said about the medium-term development that he mentioned on the opening of the parliament on the 17th of July. And this is what Mr. Ramaphosa had to say when he responded to the people when they were asking about the medium-term development.
This plan will be based on the 3 strategic priorities that are outlined in the opening address last week. As we said, our priorities are inclusive growth and job creation, reducing poverty and tackling the high cost of living, and building a capable, ethical, and developmental state.
Those were the words, and I already, have an idea of what you guys, are going to say. But let me just, get your view on what the president is saying, because he's speaking about inclusive growth, and he speaks about job creation in the country to make sure that the economy is sustainable and everyone is benefiting from the sustainability of this economy. But let me get your thoughts, guys, on the medium-term development plan that was right now, explained by the president, Ms. Nosi.
More, I believe that there are very important people that listens to or watch our show, I say this because after I complained about electricity, things started moving. And I'm hopeful that they're listening even now. Can all of them actually, the people in power, whether in the position of municipality and up to the president, can they stop these assumptions and wishy-washy statements and actually do, I don't know, what do they call these things? What do they call them again? When you oh my goodness, they sort of like assessments, but I forgot the correct term. When they go around and ask ideas from the people in which areas that they can focus on in terms of these job creations. I am hopeful more, like the president is now suddenly hopeful and putting his trust on this new government of national unity. I am also hopeful. But my fear is still that they still do not have an idea how to go about creating these jobs that they're promising. Blueprint and all, media term and all, they still do not have an idea because they cannot go around doing it the same way they've been doing it because that was not the right way. How about them coming to the people and create these spaces where you can fill out a form, give your suggestions, and then they look into areas they have not even begun to look into. So that when they actually break down this plan to us, they then tell us, look, we're going to go to the railway stations. This is A, B, C, D. We have identified that there is a need for one, two, three. We're going to go to the youth development. We have identified that young people are not able to get funding for their businesses. And these are the reasons. We're going to create a team that is able to help them with business plans as opposed to us asking them to create business plans when they do not have money for that. We're going to look at A, B, C, D. All these things clearly stated because they've actually come down to the people and asked, we have opinions. We have valid opinions. We have identified means and ways in which jobs can be created. But they're never going to know that if the people that are at our municipality levels, they have not even come and created this database based wanting opinions from us that could actually in turn help them look better by asking us, the people who are going through these things daily in our lives, as opposed to assuming that this is the area we need to look into. Because if they're going to go the same EPWP routes and other routes that they've been going to, they've already failed us. Job creations are never going to happen. I am sorry to burst their bubbles.
Indeed. So, if I may ask, was the word that we're looking for audit?
Definitely. Thank you, Mo.
All right.
Thank you, Mo.
All
That
right.
one.
You
Thank
are
you.
more than welcome. So, Mr. JP, your thoughts, please.
Inclusive growth, job creation, and sustaining economy is one of the key factors that he mentioned. And then when we look at job creation, I had Mr. Panyaza saying that they know that they didn't create jobs that are permanently, but it was temporarily. But millions of people under Nancy Spani, they've been able to feed their homes, So I think in that area is where they need to maybe work with enemy, because when you look at if EFF in most cases when they outline the job creations, they come up with good strategies and good manifestos. They need to listen to that, not looking at as an enemy, because it's something that we need to improve to make sure that those jobs are created, because we wanna fight hunger. We want people to be employed and feed their families. So if they can look at it and work together, so it's something that they can improve and see how they can create permanent positions for the people that are working at the moment, and employ other people, again on top of that. So that's how and easily it will be to create jobs and make sure that it's happening in the level ground. So coming to economy, to sustain economy, it's where they need to deal with tenders. There is a lot of glitch there, and looting. So, and people, there are few people that are benefiting in those areas. They need to relook at it and see how they can deal with that, and create more opportunities differently than what they've done before. So we can win at the end of the day if they can do that. And when they are in parliament, it doesn't matter it's an opposition or it's what do you stand for. Some of the things you need to take notes from your neighbors, so that you can improve and ask. When you say you want to do this and this, or if you are in government, you can do this and this and this, because they're debating together at the end of the day in parliament. So they're debating to help us as people that are, we voted them to be there to stand for us. So it simple means coming out there, they need to be together. We have a GNU now, even if like MK and other parties, EFF, they're out there, but their strategies are important. They can listen and they can take few points and put it together. It will help a lot more, and I think we can win. So that's how they must do it.
Indeed, thank you so much, guys, for your point of views. Because right now, as we are chasing a time on our side, I would really like to play, all of the replies from Mr. President, and then we'll come back, discuss them right here as our conclusion. So I'm only left with 3 replies. So right now, I'm going to play the key task. The reply that Mr. Ramaphosa gave when it comes to the key task for government in the next 5 years. So if you're watching there at home, please watch with us, listen with us, and reason with us. We are Share Online on each and every social media platform: Facebook, Share Online, YouTube, Share Online, Instagram, Share Online, also on TikTok. If you're on TikTok right now, you can drop your comment and tell us what you think. So this was Mr. President's response when it comes to the key task for government in the next 5 years.
A key task for government over the next 5 years will be to ensure that everyone in South Africa has equal access to affordable, quality health care through the implementation of the NHI. That is an important development we need to look at. We are unwavering in our commitment to implement universal health coverage in a manner that brings all South Africans on board. And yes, we will continue with dialogues, with exchanges, with interactions to make this an important program for our people.
So those were the words from Mr. President when he was answering based on the key task of government in the next 5 years. So right now, let me move to another one whereby Mr. Ramaphosa was responding to the national budget of South Africa on what is going to happen when it comes to it. Let me play the video for you right now.
60% of our national budget, as we know, is spent on the social wage and programs vital to reducing poverty and supporting the poor. This we do so that we can continuously make efforts to give our people a better life.
Indeed, that was also a response to from the president when he spoke about the national budget. So the last one that I am going to play for you, which is the most important and vital one, it has to do with the education that we have in our country. And this is what Mr. President Ramaphosa had to say with the education in South Africa.
On inclusive and equitable quality education, we've made progress with respect to functional literacy and numeracy at primary school level and in primary school completion rates. More progress needs to be done so that our children can continue or accede to a higher level of being able to read for meaning. Today, more South African children have access to early childhood development and grade R, as well as secondary school education outcomes that are continuing to steadily improve.
All right, that was the last one for the day. So right now, guys, as we have went through all of the 3 videos and all of the replies of when it comes to the address and the opening of the parliament, where we saw Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa addressing the nation, and yesterday he went back to parliament to reply to some of the debates that were happening while he gave the speech. So we know that he replied when it comes to better life, on parliament advancement, media term development plan, and the key tasks for the government in the next 5 years. Also, the last 2 is the national budget and the education. So guys, in conclusion, so when it comes to the key tasks of the government, Mr. Ramaphosa mentioned the NHI, and I hope with the points that you guys got from when he was speaking. He spoke about the NHI, that is something that will drive the healthcare of South Africa into better places, and making sure that every citizen is taken care of. And then he came when he spoke about the national budget, and then 60% of the money goes to the social wage, and also supporting the poor people, making sure that poverty is alleviated in our country. And then lastly, it is the education, where we just heard him that when it comes to education, we have made progress in the primary schools, as we know that a child in grade 3 can't read for meaning, but he says now progress has been made, and early childhood development plans have been put forward so that the children can get better education. So I just want to hear from you guys in conclusion when it comes to the last replies that Mr. President just gave us right now. Let me start with you, Mr. JB.
I would say more. I'm impressed
Recording
by the
in
president,
progress.
because he mentioned the
Hello, hello
NHI,
everybody.
healthcare.
Yes,
It
I hope
seems
you
like
can
it's
hear me.
continuing, even although
So
it's in
I'm
a
Crystal.
JNU government. So it shows that whatever is a man of his word. Whatever that he said before is going to continue, because those are the areas that we were worried what's going to happen. Now they're joining our forces together with DA, and DA were opposing. So it means DA now they came to terms to understand that they are together in this. They need to everyone deserve to get a better health care. So coming to 60% national budget of delegation in social, I would say that it shows that
Recording in
they really
progress.
care about their
You
people,
talk about.
because that money is it's more than half.
So there are a
When
few
we talk
objectives
about
for the
percentage,
webinar
they
today.
are in
Firstly, we want
60%.
to
So
raise awareness
it
and
shows that
understanding
they
of the
really
entire
need
skills
to
renovation
fight poverty. It's just that that money need to be delegated to right hand and right people, so that it can go until to the ground to help people. So coming to education, I'm glad that there are some programs that are in place, and to help kids to do well, because education is the key of success. Without education, we're going nowhere. Education holds the direction of our country as well. So most of the things that we deal with at the end of the day, it need education. So people must understand that education is important, and we need to pass it to generation. And whenever we give our young ones a better education, it means we'll have a better future leaders. So I'm happy about what President said. So it's all about strategy, and to implement those things that you said, we're good to go.
Thank you so much, Mr. JB. Let me hand it over to you, Ms. Nosi.
I am in agreement with Mr. Jabo for the very first time in the day. I'm really impressed by the last 3 as well, Mo. But I am hoping for a day in this country when we will move past handing not I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, benefiting from social developments. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm hoping that we would ever get to a point where we extend it to skilling, upskilling the people of this country, giving them skills that they can use to be able to make more money than the money that they are getting from the social development. I am grateful for every increase for every year because I know how it's like not to work and not to have any income and rely entirely on that income. As small as it is, it can go a long way when you do not have anything. So for every increment every year, I am grateful to that. But if we can extend it to a point of the government finding a way to give skills, especially to the young people that do not have any kind of skill because of different reasons, to give them skills so that they don't entirely rely on social development. I am also grateful by the national health insurance continuation. Having said that, not everything needs to be in the hands of government. They can, I believe, create more jobs by creating neutral bystanders that can handle the whole transition, as opposed to the government sitting with it as their baby. In order to ensure transparency, clear moving forward, and less delays in that department. Jobs are right there on that national health insurance. I already see them. If I had a knack for a call center business, I probably was going to be one of the people that open a call center and train people on how to handle these transitions between the two worlds, as it is. And the last one, education. I have kids more of different ages. God bless me with 3 kids, but I'm raising more than that. I have seen the changes. I have seen how government quickly responds when, especially on the social development side of things, how they quickly respond when somebody wants to open a preschool and that those people have skills to actually teach our children to learn to read, to understand before they could get to an environment of the actual school where everything seems very crowded. I am impressed by that. I believe more can be done, but I'm impressed by what has been done, and I'm grateful that there are plans again that have been put in place. Yeah.
Thank you for that, guys. And also, in conclusion, we really hope that the president and his team, the cabinet lekgotla, they really sit down and make sure that they find a way for the citizens of South Africa, because they are complaining and they have their own concerns of what is going on, and they have called out on the 29th of May. They have called out the leaders that they trust to represent them in the front line. So, closing it off with the last words from the president, he remembered. He concluded by remembering and paraphrasing the words of Martin Luther King Jr. when he said, "Let us rise up tonight with greater readiness, let us stand with a greater determination, and let us move on in these powerful days, these days of challenge, to make South Africa what it ought to be. We have an opportunity to make South Africa a better nation. May God bless South Africa and protect its people. Nkosi sikeleli i-Africa." Thank you so much, guys, for being with me, and to Mr. JP and Nosi, guys. Thank you so much for joining in and being here with me. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you, Mo.
So much,
Thank you, Mo.
thank you, Mr. Jabu. I'm hoping to see you next week, like physically.
Indeed. Indeed, that should happen. Guys, please catch Mzansi Affairs next week, Tuesday, same time, same place, right here on Share Radio, brought to you by Share Online. You can follow us on every social media platforms and make sure you leave down your comment and tell us what you really think about the news headlines that we were having right here on studio. My name is Moeketsi, my money, and I will see you next week right here on Mzansi Affairs. Stay blessed.